Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in for another video. Now, we are getting so close to the start of training camp of this 2025 upcoming NFL season. And today, we're going to take an outlook as to 5 teams that I think are going to have a slip or a fall during this 2025 season. Now, how I'm going to do this is, I'm not going to say this team is going to fall out of the playoffs or anything like that. I'm simply going to say I think they're going to have a fall record-wise into the status that they were, i.e. Super Bowl appearances, championship game appearances, things like that. So before I get into this list, make sure you guys leave this video a like as it continues to help this channel to grow and it beats the YouTube algorithm. And if you are not subbed, go ahead, click the subscribe button and notification bell so you will not miss any of the videos that I post. But without further ado, let's dive into it. The number 5 team on this list is going to be the Miami Dolphins, who finished 8-9 during the 2024 year. Now, the reason I say the Dolphins, I think, are going to have a fall off, and I think it's going to end up leading to the eventual fire of Mike McDaniel, is number 1, I think the running game for the Miami Dolphins is going to take a hit without Raheem Mostert. Then you talk about Devon Achane, who has an injury history. Then you have an unquestionable backfield backup with Jaylon Wright, Alexander Madison, and Ollie Gordon II, who they got in the draft. Then we're talking about Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, good at the wide receiver position, but they have been struggling with injuries, along with Tua Tagovailoa. Then they lose Jonnu Smith, who I think was a very good weapon for them. We're not sure what Darren Waller is going to be out of retirement. And we're talking about them on the defensive side of the ball. Bradley Chubb is now out of the door, or he's been questionable, and he might be out. You traded Jalen Ramsey. You lose a guy like Javon Holland, and your secondary, your corner position in general was not really good to even begin with. Now that you trade Jalen Ramsey, yes, you do get Minkah Fitzpatrick back. But when we're talking about this defense, I personally am not really sold on this defense, and I'm not really sold on the health, continued health that is, of this football team with an offensive line that, to me, is kind of questionable going in. You got James Daniels at left guard, Joe Savigny at right guard, but who knows? Austin Jackson's play has been kind of hit or miss. Then left tackle is Patrick Paul, who's, to me, a bit of an unknown. So a team that I think is going to really take a step back. And then on top of that, you got the NFC East. On top of that, you got the AFC East getting better when we're talking about the Bills still on top. The Patriots, I think, have really gotten better when we're talking about teams in this division. Then the Jets, I think, could be a much better football team than they were last year. And if it's any team in that division is going to take a step back, I think it's going to be the Dolphins. Even though they did finish 9th in passing and rushing defense last year, that running game is still, I don't think, improved, which finished 21st. The passing game is kind of questionable with the health of Tua, and that is a big question going into any season. So I think the Dolphins take a step back in 2025, and I think Mike McDaniels is probably going to be shown the door. The number 4 team on this list might be a little bit of a question mark or a little bit controversial. I'm going to put the Washington Commanders at number 4, and this is why. And it's not the fact that this team has gotten better, and I think they are roster-wise has gotten better. I just don't think, number 1, Jaden Daniels is going to have the same type of magic that he did in year 1. 2, my personal opinion, I think when it comes to the offense of Cliff Kingsbury, I think over time, teams figure out that offense. Now, they did add Deebo Samuel. The question mark is still Terry McLaurin. Are they going to get their contract situation corrected at the time of me recording this video? You do have a good running game with Robinson and Eckler. Defensively, I still like this team on the defensive side of the ball with Bobby Wagner, They added Javon Kinlaw, Deron Payne. The pass rush is something that could be a little bit questioned when we're talking about this football team on the defensive side of the ball. And I think that is an area that I think it could be exposed a bit. They did add Laramie Tunsil to your offensive line, which I think is a huge step. My thing with the Washington Commanders, I don't think they repeat the same success as in reaching your NFC Championship game. Then on top of that, you're still in a division with the reigning Super Bowl defending champions in the Philadelphia Eagles and a Cowboys team who I think can be improved just by being healthy alone. And Jaden Daniels, as great as he was his rookie year, as great as that offense looked at parts during his rookie year, there were times where that offense kind of struggled, and I think it was a big part of the offensive line. Now, I think Laramie Tunsil is going to be a good addition. I just put the Commanders on this list solely because I don't think they repeat a 12-5 season, and offensively, I don't think they repeat what they did last year because I think teams are starting to figure out what the Commanders are going to do. Unless Cliff Kingsbury has made adjustments, I put a big question out on his particular offense in general because of the time that he had in Arizona where the Cardinals, 2021 Cardinals, looked like they were clicking on all cylinders, and it just kind of fell flat from there with teams being able to slow down that offense. And I don't even want to be the guy that's not rooting for Jaden Daniels because I love Jaden Daniels and what he can do on the football field. I just don't think he has the same success. I don't think this offense has the same success, and I think it takes a step back. They'll still be in playoff contention, but I just don't think, number one, they're going to win that NFC East, or two, they're going to make it back to the NFC Championship game. As controversial as it may be, that's why I have the Commanders on this list. The number 3 team on this list is going to be the Minnesota Vikings, and that is solely, for me, based on quarterback play. You have an unproven quarterback in J.J. McCarthy heading into basically his rookie year since he only played a little bit of the preseason last year. You have Aaron Jones. As much as I like Aaron Jones in that running game, he's getting up there in age. You have Harrison Smith on the back end of your defense that's also getting up there in age. I'm questioning their corners with Mekhi Blackman and Isaiah Rodgers. Byron Murphy is a good inside slot corner, but will this Vikings defense have the same success as far as blitzing goes, as far as things go, did they have in last year in 2024? They added Jonathan Allen, who I think will be a great addition for this football team. I think the sole purpose of me putting the Vikings down as a team on this list is quarterback play, and I think there is no way on God's green earth, and it sounds crazy, there's no way on God's green earth that they replicate a 14-3 season, especially in that particular division where we're talking about a Bears team who has gotten much better, a Lions team who will still be a force to be reckoned with, and we're talking about a Packers team who's always up there as far as contention. So a 14-3 record would not happen, especially in an NFC North division where I think, honestly, it is the toughest division in football. Then you have an unquestioned quarterback when we're talking about J.J. McCarthy. Now, you guys are going to say, you don't root for him because he went to Michigan. That's not true. I'm rooting for J.J. McCarthy. Believe it or not, I want him to have success. Of course, not against the Bears, but I want him to have success. But it's just the fact of you have a looming question mark at possibly one of the biggest positions that you have in professional sports. You have a question there when we're talking about a guy who has never started an NFL game, and then you want to replicate a 14-3 year. I just don't think that's going to happen. Despite them improving the offensive line with Donovan Jackson from The Ohio State University in the draft, Ryan Kelly and Will Freeze, both from the Colts, Christian Darrisaw, be back healthy, and Brian O'Neill, who I think is one of the better right tackles in football. I just leave 2 question marks. Their defense, starting to get up there in age. Offensively, question mark at quarterback. And Aaron Jones, he's been solid, but you have to wonder with him about the injury history. They traded for Jordan Mason, who also has been a bit banged up. that is a big question mark and why I put the Minnesota Vikings on this list at number 3. Today's video is brought to you by ExpressVPN. For me, it is very important to have a VPN to protect my online privacy. It'd be very, very creepy if there was someone out there who kept a log of every single thing that you did online. So why let your internet provider really do that to you online? The best thing to do is to get yourself a VPN, and why not go with the ExpressVPN, the best VPN available. Personally, I like it for the fact that you can unlock Netflix shows that you do not get in the US market. Now, one show that I've started to get myself into is Brooklyn Nine-Nine. You search Brooklyn Nine-Nine in the US, doesn't come up, but you can switch your location to Canada, and you can research Brooklyn Nine-Nine again, and bam, it pops up right then and there, and you can catch up on your episodes of Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Now, if you click the link in the description below, you will get 3 free months of ExpressVPN. Just by clicking the link below and you sign up today, you will get 3 months free of ExpressVPN. All you have to do is click the link down below, and you will get ExpressVPN. Now, let's just get back to the video. The number 2 team on this list, you can say it'll be controversial as well. I put the Detroit Lions at number 2, and it's not the roster. Let's just make this clear about this Detroit Lions team. It's not the roster. I think when we're talking about Detroit Lions as a whole, you have to look right at the coaching staff. Whether you lose Ben Johnson to be the head coach of the Bears, whether you lose Aaron Glenn to be the head coach of the New York Jets, whether you lose wide receiver coach Antoine Randall, quarterback coach JT Barrett. This coaching staff has went through a ton of changes. Then we're talking about a defense that I still think they need to get a solid pass rusher outside of Aiden Hutchinson. Now, I put the Detroit Lions on this list because there's no way I think they replicate a 15-2 season similar to the Minnesota Vikings. I think neither team replicates what they had last year. 15-2 is going to be tough, especially in a division, the toughest division I think going into the 2025 season, and the NFC North that has gotten better. When we're talking about the Packers, like I said, we're talking about the Bears that have both gotten better. I think it's going to be more of a scratch and claw thing. Now, did they have potential to reach the NFC Championship game last year if it wasn't for the injuries? Yes, but they had a guy like Carlton Davis who is now departed. You have Alex Anzalone, who I think is solid. He's been in the league for a while. Aiden Hutchinson, we're not exactly sure how he's going to fare coming back off that devastating leg injury that he suffered in 2024. They did add DJ Reed as the secondary, who I think is going to be a big pickup for them. I just think this Lions team takes a bit of a fall. Could they still win the division? Yes. Could they still make it to the NFC Championship game? Yes, it's a possibility with the way that their roster is constructed. We're one of the best offensive lines in the league with Decker, Sewell, Glasgow. Losing Frank Ragnow is that's a big hurt. That is a big hurt. Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery are still in your backfield. You still have Jared Goff. But like I said about this team, a lot of the question marks, like I said, is going to be the coaching staff. And can this team in 2025, with the new coaching staff that they have with John Morton as the offensive coordinator and Kelvin Shelton as defensive coordinator, can this team live up to expectations and a 15-2 and somehow repeating that? No. And that's why I put them on this list, and it's more because of the coaching staff. The number 1 team on this list, and you guys might call me crazy in the comments, I'm waiting for it. Am I expecting it? Is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. Yes, I said it, the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, why I say this, number 1, I always say or always believe that dynasties, they sometimes have periods where they don't live up to certain dynamic expectations. Dynasties have periods where they lose players. They have periods where things just necessarily do not go their way. And I think that's going to happen to this Chiefs team in 2025. If we look at the Chiefs in 2024, you could say they got lucky a lot last year, whether it was refs, whether it was late game mistakes. Yes, they won games. But when we look at the totality, they basically won a ton of games by the chin and through the skin of their teeth. is how they won a lot of football games. And I just don't think when you put this Chiefs team together now, when you lose Joe Thuney to the Chicago Bears, we're not sure what Rashee Rice is going to be as far as a personal player conduct policy. Isaiah Pacheco has dealt with injuries. Hollywood Brown dealt with injuries. Travis Kelce has not been the same player, and his play is starting to diminish. Chris Jones has dealt with injuries, hasn't been the same player. And when we're talking about the secondary, Trey McDuffie, yes, good football player. I really like him. Brian Cook has stepped up. George Karlaftis, I'm not going to lie, he's been really productive for them. But in this Steve Spagnuolo scheme, what are they going to get from the linebacker position? Nick Bolton has been solid. We don't know what we're going to get from Tranquil, and we don't know what we're going to get from Chanel. Now, my personal opinion, Creed Humphrey is one of the best centers in the league. Trey Smith is solid. Jawan Taylor and Jaylon Moore at the tackle positions are going to be your weakest spots, unless Josh Simmons from The Ohio State University becomes a starter. But I just feel the diminished play of Travis Kelce is going to hurt this football team. And if we look at 2024, Patrick Mahomes, he wasn't having that great of a season, if we're going to be honest. Not even just from a statistical standpoint. It's been some games where the Chiefs were literally carried by their defense. And I don't think that is a recipe that can continue to get this Chiefs team in 2025. We've seen what happened to them in the Super Bowl when they start to face competition and pass rush like the Eagles have. And I just don't think what they've done with this offensive line is going to be better than what they had last year, especially at left tackle, unless Josh Simmons starts to develop. And I just personally think this team is going to take a step back. Do I see an AFC Championship game? Honestly, no. I don't see them making an AFC Championship game. Could they still win their division? Yes, because the only competition I think they will have in that division is the Los Angeles Chargers. So it might be controversial, but my number one team that's going to take a fall 2025 is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs. But those are my thoughts. I know it might be kind of crazy. You guys can leave your thoughts in the comments down below. Leave this video a like, comment, share it, subscribe to the channel, and click the notification bell so you will not miss anything. But I am APW Sports signing out. Make sure you guys stay safe. Have a great next day, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.